it's not that bad.
But yeah, I guess theoretically these two heroes are then mid and 4 position. You just don't know who's playing which. There is some flex potential to like Zeus 5, but it doesn't seem very likely. At least Entity themselves, a team that don't seem to flex heroes beyond what they've already shown.
Yeah, they don't necessarily
they have shown the Venom on Toby before.
Yeah. The Bristle is kind of cool though, because we talk about the Night Stalker, right? Now they're not going to ban it because they feel like there's like that good mid-game matchup between the Bristle and Night Stalker. Also, you do have to expend bans to protect your Bristle. Otherwise, yeah, you're going to run into some big problems. I think their 3 bans are perfect for protecting him as best they can.
It's kind of interesting Entity ban Enigma, because that's just a hero that they've shown that they will always want, and they're the ones who basically like they're reducing their own hero pool, it feels like.
I'm surprised that Bloodseeker as well didn't go through. That did go through, excuse me. Like Necrophos, he's also strong, and he is a hero that Entity has already drafted against Bristleback, so maybe that's the reason. But you even had Grave. Like, you could actually Grave the sighted heroes, which is always good against him, but alright.
It feels like Aster recognized Bristleback is just a good pick against a lot of Entity's preferred. Like the Beastmaster, it's good against the Enigma, which is, I guess, why Entity just like, we don't want to play Enigma into Bristle, let's just ban it out. The fact that Aster are first phasing Bristle to me just says that's the hero that's good against Entity's hero pool.
Yeah, and we'll see. Entity, they have the first pick in the second stage. That pick will give a lot away. I believe that they have to kind of soft commit into countering this Bristleback instantly.
Yeah.
As if they don't, Team Aster can even just pick something that you haven't imagined.
I mean, I guess they could just take the route of let's just pick Fishman's hero too, though. But they do, I mean, something needs to address Bristle. Like right now, this Bristle, you know, it's not like hard countering anything, but it's a hero that you can't just ignore.
It's hard, right? Because Fishman does seem to have a really small hero pool. When I see Bristleback, a 5 I really like against it is like the Shadow Demon, because you get that break, you get the massive HP removal, but his pool is so limited, we're seeing another Bane. This isn't like a fantastic Bristle counter, but it is definitely something they're comfortable on, right? I don't know.
It worked well before for them. It's also showing that Tiny is 100% mid. It's something that we could have guessed as well, right?
Yeah. I think for Aster, you need to be picking something to cancel the Fiend script here. You know, they haven't got any disables yet, but you can't just give him these free Fiend script on a hero like Bristle, who's going to just lose his mana pool and not dish out damage as a result.
Last game, I think we saw these ganks with the Tiny and the Bane trying to kill an Alchemist. Alch and Bristle are kind of similar in how hard they are to kill, and they could barely kill the Alchemist sometimes, especially if Grave came out, especially if they're trying to play Zeus across the map and not joining these ganks, because he can only provide his ult, and he's waiting for the hero to drop down to low enough health. So there was that counterplay there last game that made their ganks look really awkward, and I see that issue again for Entity this game.
What are we seeing from Aster?
Maybe that's
the Shaker. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a few Voka's heroes like in the pool here, as you called it already.
Yeah, and they instantly just get this duo, Shaker DP. Like these are the heroes that are usually banned, but because Entity is just such a wild team, you have a completely different set of bans versus them than you have versus anyone else. DP goes through, Shaker goes through. It's such a simple 1-2 combo to pick.
Yeah, I just assumed Death Prophet was banned. I'm not surprised. Like, Shaker makes sense, but Death Prophet still being in the pool, I think, is like huge for Aster here.
We're just seeing a repeat of their earlier match right now.
Right.
Except there's no Necrophos, so what is their final pick? Oh,
I still think, yeah, Team Aster instant banned. Like, they didn't even take a second to think about it. Like, this was the perfect pick for Entity. So much damage on the side of Entity would allow this Bloodseeker to just constantly be zooming around. So they ban it out. Is there something else? There is Necro, but it's been banned out. Timbersaw as well, he's completely out. You want a tank breaker, but there aren't truly too many left in the pool.
Yeah, I'm trying my best to think of one, but it's really hard. I think Toby's Veno is probably going to have a pretty good game, though. Like, again, there's no real jump with spells. They have an Earthshaker who's going to struggle if he gets that blink into the Plague Wards. Like Entity, once again, they're going to really want to like control a map space with wards, with the Plague Wards, and kind of like make it their own. Right now, though, I do see a lot of holes in their lineup. They don't have very good Rosh taking. Their ability to push towers is quite limited. Like, they can't do it very fast until later when Tiny has that shard. They don't even have like team fight.
Honestly, I feel I see so many holes in every single one of their drafts, but they still make it work somehow.
For sure, yeah. But the last time they had the Necro, and the whole point was that they had so many bodies and so many hard-to-kill heroes, they would just use like a Boots of Bearing and like Wraith Pact and stuff to kind of just force their way onto the map. And I don't see them having that this time because a hero like DP who can just rush that BKB and just run into the middle of the heroes is going to be able to just split you apart.
Yep. Are we looking for a Saberlight hero? We are, right?
We have to be. I guess they could safe lane the Veno and pick an offlane. I'm just not seeing it, but we'll find out soon enough.
Oh, it's a Brewmaster. How do we feel about this one?
I think it makes a lot of sense. Like, only the grip is going to really stop you getting off your primal split. It gives you that, like, it's basically replacing what the Pengu was meant to do last game, but Pengu couldn't do it because he kept getting his role interrupted by grip and all these other things. This guarantees, like, you're going to get your ulti up.
Are they inviting a Doom pick here?
Yeah, that's what else is Saberlight play that's left in the pool?
Yeah, I feel like they're just asking for it.
I mean, Doom on paper, it deals with their heroes, right? But we keep looking, or I at least have looked too much to the mid game and looking at a game on even ground, and I think Aster with their heroes can run over a Doom. This concerns me. Like, I think a Brewmaster, you can't Doom a Brew, a Bristle, and a DP.
No, I agree completely. You can't. Maybe if you get the refresher and the refresher shard, you might be able to. But
Good luck.
Yes, physically you can do it.
it's possible. It's out there. It's wild, but it's possible. Yeah, I completely agree with Sheep. Like, you can call the Doom, and you can see that entity will pick it, but so did Aster. So did Aster, 100%.
Yeah, they were much more afraid of the Bloodseeker or a Night Stalker, more of these tempo heroes. Doom is sitting below 30% win rate at this tournament. It takes quite a bit of time to come online too. You need a lot of farm on this Doom to be effective.
So what are the positives? They have the Veno versus Shaker. He won't be able to utilize the Blink very well. Like, you have the Grip versus Brew. You have the Doom as well. So it is possible for Entity. It's not. I don't think that their draft is. I don't think that they've been outdrafted heavily. Slight advantage, however, in my opinion, towards Team Aster.
Yeah. I think the key thing is being able to blow up this Death Prophet, because they're doing Death Prophet mid against the Tiny, good lane matchup, but like in the mid game when those exorcisms come out, making sure you don't let Death Prophet like turn these fights around with like big Spirit Siphons to heal back up.
What's the trade-off? Is the Shaker Brew maybe a little bit weaker of a lane?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, they could always just pull the wave though, because it's really hard for Entity safe lane to contest it. This is my biggest problem with their lineup. I just see too many holes. Like, how are they going to contest a Roshan versus Aster as well? Like, they just pop the Brule inside the pit or something and run out, and it's like, it's just so easy for them.
Yep.
Well, both teams battling for their tournament life right now in this game number 3. We have Sunsfan and Jenkins. Take us away.
Game number 3. This game comes down to who secures themselves top 4, who goes home. A lot on the line here, Mr. Jenkins, and we got some cool picks. We see the Venomancer, who I think we looked up has a 40% win rate at this tournament. So
not great.
Not
great.
particularly great, but do you think it's good this game? Now, they talked about
This
the cancellation of the Blink Daggers. Obviously, the ult generally good against strength heroes.
Honestly, I think this is one of the best Dazzle counters in the game, which is probably a big reason that Entity, I mean, obviously it's Toby that, this guy's famous for his Venomancer, very toxic. But against Veno, yeah, you've all these dots and the damage over time. You can't shallow grave somebody, right? It's like they're going to die eventually anyway, so you do need some other form of healing.
Do you agree with the panel that the Doom, even though we've seen a lot of Saberlight Doom this tournament, hero he's very comfortable with even in the position 1, maybe not what rounds out this lineup for Entity?
I mean, I think it's fine. You're going to Doom one guy. There's a grip for somebody else. There's tiny stun. I think like they're a bit lacking, but it just depends on how they take the fights. It's not like they have no way to do it. But with that being said, I do feel like Aster's lineup is a lot easier to execute.
Mm-hmm.
You pop a Brew ult. There's not really much that you can do about that. You just throw up the tiny. If Stormstormer... Oh, they're actually doing some cheeky play here with Babok on the high ground.
Yeah, he's going to try to trap them in with a Fissure, and Stormstormer's going to be the one, the recipient here. He's going to take a lot of damage with that Poison Touch continuing to stack along with the Sticky Goo, but will it be enough to get the kill? Another right click? No. Stormstormer does survive, but I mean, he's the mid laner. He's not going to get a salve. He can get some right clicks, so he's going to be at the disadvantage to start this game. Or he's going to take full advantage of it.
And D-Ward too.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow, that hurts. Yeah, that's a lot of experience, actually.
Is Stormstormer, is he sending out a salve? Yeah, he is. He needs this. So it's 100 gold away from his bottle. timing.
Yep, that's true.
Pretty big.
And another fissure coming out from Baboka. Toby's just forced to TP out, just like that. And he TPs to the tier 1. So not having to do the walk of shame, but again, the damage very high on him.
Yeah, that's another hero that's going to need to send out a salve because he just used TP. He can't die and then come back. Yeah, he sends it on the courier. So first couple of waves favoring Aster.
Now, Brewmaster here we don't get to see as often. This one I don't really know. Why is Brew not picked more? What is the disadvantage of picking Brew? Because it feels like in every game you usually get the farmers. Going to see the Gale here connect on the Siamese Cat, but Baboka doing a nice job of kind of being that meat shield. But Brewmaster, it feels like you get the Ags, you get Refresher. Like every game this seems to happen, as long as the game is even remotely even. And I don't know how you deal with that many primal splits.
You can't. You really can't. I mean, Tiny is one of the better options against it because if you do eventually get the Aghanim Scepter, which Stormstormer has been opting to go for the Shard, which usually people don't go for the Ags, but maybe this game against Brew, you can cleave all of the Pandas down with that. With that being said, still the Brew ult, yeah, I mean, it's just a broken ability, but the cooldown. I think the cooldown is the big reason why people can deal with this hero and don't think that it's that strong, which, by the way, he is completely alone up here, soloing, went for the Windlace first. So...
Yep, it is a tri lane to start for Aster. I thought that Baboka was going to end up rotating out, but they're just going to try to keep these entity heroes at bay, as that'll provide a lot of right-click, or a lot of CS for Monet on the Bristleback.
Dude, Toby's level 1. I mean, this is kind of working. He's getting really zoned. I think this is what a lot of people think is the solution to Venomancer, and a lot of these ranged offlaners is to just tri-lane them. They are not these tanky, meaty boys that can survive that. They don't have any mobility. We saw him waste the TP, or use a TP rather, to try to survive there right at the start. So
yeah, and like you said, XXS on the other side is soloing, and they haven't really even done that much damage to him because they don't really have that much kill potential right now.
No, it's a Doom lane. This is why Aster can pull this off, is because they know that he's not laning against a lot of kill threat. They're going to try, maybe.
Yeah, now that Saberlight's level 3, but again, XXS is also level 3 now, has 1 point in each ability. Stormer, Spirit Siphon's there. He's looking for the toss, but you can see Baboka is in the area with the fissure available. Gets off a decent block, and the Bane forced to TP. And obviously no bottle refill available, as Stormer doesn't even have one yet. He actually came from the bot lane anyway, so wouldn't be able to refill it regardless. But Toby just gets destroyed. First blood for Aster.
Tommy's level 1. He might die too.
Yeah, I think he is definitely dead. Pops the wand. Of course, when I say that, full wand.
20 wand charges, yeah. That's a Bristleback Dazzle tri-lane. That's a lot of wand charges.
But I mean, if you're Aster, that's okay. He's actually going to do some more right-click damage to Kataomi, but Toby getting the free Gale thanks to the Fountain Regen. Monet, he's 400 from Vanguard.
Yeah, he's got his Ring of Health coming, so I think that's why they did this tri-lane on Aster. They're getting him to his Ring of Health, so that way he can just sit there and lane against a low-level Venomancer who's applying that damage over time to him. But the Ring of Health, of course, negates that.
Yep, Saberlight going for the greedy Hannah Midas, which I guess not so greedy when you're playing Core Doom these days. It's pretty much a requirement. And it's funny that we haven't seen a Hannah Midas this entire series, despite it being like the item of the tournament for the most part. But then again, even from Entity's side, they don't really play normal position ones.
No, they don't.
That would buy it. Stormstormer again, fissured out. Ori with the Spirit Siphon. You can see his CS is 24 and 4, tied with Ori. Actually, exact same CS, although he's going to get 3 more creeps here in all likelihood. So relatively even. I mean, how does the DP Tiny matchup generally go?
I think it's very favored for DP because Tiny has the highest base strength in the game. Like, he's got an insane health pool, and Spirit Siphon, you're going to have full HP at all points on DP. That's why the tossback didn't work. And Baboka, man, like, they've zoned these 2 entity offlaners out so much that he can walk up a high ground like that into 2 heroes and still be fine.
Yeah. And he's the same level, and only 150 away from Monet getting this Vanguard. As Hannah Midas is on the way for Saberlight. That's a pretty damn good timing.
Yeah, he's very farmed. Completely rushing it, no boots.
Yep, understandable considering he's getting that free farm. So, Baboka, see if he can set something. I mean, the fact that he's been here so long, Stormstormer just has to be careful of not getting fissure blocked.
Yeah.
And the 6-minute rune, 25 seconds away. Actually, they use a scan just to double check that he's here.
Yep, he's still
Fissure
there.
like, hey, I know you're here, buddy. Fissure comes out. Ori already with the exorcism has that 1 level advantage right now onto Stormstormer, but the toss away. So Ori will have to be happy with some creep kills and maybe some damage to the tier 1 tower. But again, you can see Kataomi and Fishman have come in this mid lane to make a try for the time being. Pretty damn early with his first catapult.
It's kind of low-level entity support, so pretty good damage from Aster. Although they're going to back off and secure the rune instead.
Yeah, and it is a haste rune for Ori as Baboka taking the enemy bounty. So it was like, even though it is very early on, Aster pretty damn happy with how things are going, despite Saberlight getting a really early hand of Midas.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing into a Midas carry Doom who's maxing Devour, and they still have a bit of a gold lead. They're very happy. And Toby's being pretty shut down. He's being given a little bit of space now to come back and recover. So, pretty happy about that.
Yep, gonna get the Gale off as Kataomi showing himself the level 3 Zeus. Does Monet need to go for a Hood as well as a Vanguard? Looks like he's going for another Ring of Health after getting some Essentials. So I would assume that that is gonna end up being the Hood.
I was going to say, I'm kind of surprised that Monet went for the Vanguard instead of the Hood this game, considering he's up against all of this magic damage. I would imagine that he's probably going to disassemble the Vanguard and build that into a Hood. What does he have coming out here? Yeah, he's going to do that. He's got the Cloak and the Ring of Regen on the Courier.
And then we should be able to see the very cookie-cutter Bristle build that we've seen a lot this tournament, which is the straight-up Ags after getting these small items. And Saberlight, I mean, from Doom's perspective, this is a hero that we see a little bit of variation, considering he plays so many different positions. I mean, I would assume a Blink Dagger comes out for Stormstormer, so the question is, do you need a Blink on Doom as well? Because if you do, then you get the Centaur creep, of course, or you can play the more... I mean, position 1, sometimes we don't see the Blink, so...
I would say at some point, like getting a Doom off on the Brew is very important. All of these other heroes are not as important as the Brewmaster, at least in the early to mid game. However, I feel like probably BKB comes first, and you just rely on like the tiny tossbacks and then the Bane Nightmare and Fiend Script to set up for the Dooms. But eventually, of course.
Yep, 8-minute rune's going to spawn bot as Siamese Cat's the one that picks up the DD. And Nightmare. It's going to be a chase onto Fishman, who's blocked off by the Fissure, so Baboka and company will be able to get their second kill of the game.
Yeah, that's free. XXS was coming to try to use the ult. Once you're level 6, it's so powerful at this point. Like, he is the strongest hero on the map, despite being 1v2. That's just the nature of Brewmaster, and so I would imagine some rotation comes towards top. It looks like that will be the Death Prophet. Ori is up there. They're going to force the tower. This is a tough defense for Entity.
Yeah, for sure. And Exorcism pop, like you said. So some free damage at the very least, and Saberlight's just going to TP out. So this might just be a concession of the tier 1 tower entirely. Does require 3 members of Aster, though. And you can see bottom lane, a similar thing is happening, although Monet's the one that's actually caught off guard. TP's coming in, but the Centaur Stomp coming out. Nice grave from Siamese Cat, as Saberlight probably just forced to try to right-click through this. They do find Monet, but it's going to be the cost of Saberlight. And the Primal Split coming out will lead to a second kill for Aster. As Kataomi, oh, he gets lifted at the last second by XXS. So the first Primal Split used to full effect, although Kataomi jumps to the high ground.
He got him,
and
he's
now
stuck.
blocked in by the Fissure. And it's going to be a slow death for him, one way or the other. Gets off some spells in the meantime, and a high 5 to boot. Ends up being a 1 for 3. They do get Monet, which is a very valuable kill, but again, costing you the position 1 Doom and the off lane and support.
Yeah, that was really big from Aster. They basically recognized that Entity, they TP out of the top lane not wanting to fight into the DP ult or the Panda Split, and so they don't have to use the Panda Split in order to get the tower, which means they have it to defend bot. And Brewmaster is just so powerful in Dota right now at this point. The more and more time passes, like you want to fight him when he's level 11, because when he's level 11, you still have the level 6 Pandas, which are like equivalent to like a level 6 hero, right? Monet, he's got the Hood now, so he did go for both of those items.
Toby.
Oh, he's
You
canceled.
actually want to fight this? Gonna get gooed up. Quill Spray to follow. Getting chased here as Saberlight comes to the rescue. And Baboka not quite in range to get off a Fissure that would make a difference here.
No boots on Monet, so A little difficult for him to chase.
Yep, that's true.
No Soul Ring either, so he's down here with pretty low resources.
Yep, Soul Ring now on the way. And Earn is online for Toby. Obviously, the Spirit Vessel against the Bristleback is going to be, even against the DP, extremely important. And I think you're right, though. I think the Doom will have to be used onto XXS on the Brew, so you can't get that split off. But it feels like later the game goes, if you can't do that, an Aghanim Scepter might be the choice to try to break this Bristleback as well, because you don't... I mean, the Silver Edge probably will come online at some point for Stormer, but how reliable would that be?
I think having multiple breaks is always good.
But getting Ags does feel a little...
It feels... Yeah, it does feel
Fishman?
kind of bad.
Oh, Fissure not connecting at all. Trying to go for a cheeky block, but this will likely lead to a kill for Aster anyway. Getting Spirit Siphon onto the high ground, but a nice Gale comes out. Fishman actually does survive thanks to the Brain Sap.
He's alive.
So punished for the missed Fissure.
Yeah.
Well, XXS, this could be the first Doom of the game. Gets it off just in time. Now the chase is on. He's going to get slowed thanks to the Heavenly Jump. No TP's coming for Aster. At least a Saberlight getting that nice pickup for himself. He's already 1,600 gold into his BKB purchase. I mean, considering he has the hoof stomp creep, right?
He's got the mana.
Oh, he actually changed it up again. Okay.
Yeah. So he's playing to farm, spam his abilities. As Aster, their trade for this is, okay, you use Doom, we're just going to press Exorcism on the mid tower. And so now they have this 2-tower advantage. A big reason behind this is because Toby's been just catching up for the last few minutes. After that laning stage, he can't really be that Venomancer that's like setting up to defend towers or to push towers. But he is getting to that point. His net worth is not looking as pathetic as it was at the start of the game. He's actually almost caught up to XXS.
Yep, very impressive indeed. And level 1 Plague Wards. Not going to farm too fast with that.
Oh yeah, he's got level 1 Plague Wards actually. Oh.
I was hearing some people, I'm not going to name names, but somebody, there was a pro player backstage looking at a game from the other day, and they were kind of flaming the level 1 Plague Ward, actually. Like, who would do this? We're seeing it now on Toby. But only a recipe away from the Spirit Vessel. Fishman getting off the Nightmare, but no reinforcements coming other than Ori from the Aster perspective. As he has his Yules ready to go, we'll be going for, looks like a Hood. And farm away from Monet. And at what point for Entity do they want to try to pick up the pace? Because, again, as most of their lineups are, the scaling, I mean, you can definitely fight late game, but they don't have the traditional carry. And from Aster, I guess Bristleback is the closest you can get to the traditional carry for them.
This is kind of cool from Fishman, what he's doing. Like, he sees them on a ward, and he walks up, making it look like he doesn't see them there. And he actually almost dies for it, but it's a bit of a bait. Like, if he can get the grip off, maybe his team, maybe if Toby's somewhere closer. It's just annoying from Fishman, you know?
Yeah, oh, that's a juicy stack.
That's a big one, yeah.
Yeah, Monet working on that Aghanim Scepter. So he actually went Vanguard and Hood, didn't end up disassembling, so just playing it safe. As Toby and company will get Fissure to start things out, but XXS gets off the Primal Split into an instant grip on the side of Entity, so punished completely. As Aster lose their offlaner, and it looks like Siamese Cat will be next, although he's going to get his Grave off. Likely will just delay the inevitable. There's nice 2 pickups for Entity, and likely will try to turn this into a Tier 1 tower as well.
Yeah, they have the Brew answers. They use both of them at the same time, but I do feel like at this point, he's the most important hero in the game. If he doesn't get his ult off, there's not much of a way for Aster to fight. Maybe around Ori, like if Ori was there and had his Exorcism up, then...
Oh, we have the Yules. Ori gets off the Exorcism, and the Silence, attempted TP from Fishman, will be successful. Just barely. They deny the bounty route as well.
Oh my god.
And Ori feels awful having used his ult, although Toby getting gone on by the Primal Split, so at the very least for Aster, they will get something out of it. And actually, it's a juicier kill.
Yeah, that's kind of a better kill, but I don't know. I mean, still split into Exo down. I feel like after using Doom and Grip, it's a big opportunity for Aster.
Yeah.
And they didn't get much out of it. They just got, I don't know, position. Do you even want to call it a position 3 Venomancer? He's been struggle city.
Well, he's still the 3rd most farmed on his team, so yeah, I'd still say 3.
Yeah, I guess so. But Kataomi, he's doubling the net worth of the next guy almost. He's doing pretty well. He's got his Ether Lens actually on Zeus.
And XXS is only 1,500 away from Ags already. I feel like these Brewmasters get this thing so fast, but Saberlight want to try to contest, does not have Doom quite yet. The Rain Sap comes from the other side. Fishman forcing out 2 TPs.
Okay.
And one actually is canceled, so the nice bait from Entity.
That was nice. Yeah, that was a really cool bait. They do this weird wraparound thing and make it look like they're like sandwiching the tower, but really they didn't. They're just stalling for their next Doom, which is up in 30 seconds.
Yeah, with the BKB now online from Saberlight, will keep him nice and healthy in these fights.
Fishman does have grit, but
yeah,
more of a bait.
And not going to expend it here, but XXS getting ever so close. I mean, this is a real game changer with that ult. As bottom lane, Baboka gets taken out by Saberlight. So Entity with a 2K lead to start us off here in game number 3 of the lower bracket semifinals or quarterfinals, something finals.
Some sort of final, yeah,
the
that's
Arlington
right.
Major.
Yeah, we are in Arlington as well.
Yep, this is Texas, USA land. Fishman, he is all over the place, this guy. Look at the vision that they have. He gets the Nightmare off. Saberlight's here as well. You can see some reinforcements coming for Aster, but I don't know if this is going to be in time. Even
Doom the back line.
Dooming the Dazzle before the Grave can come out. They're going to find the DP, and Saberlight and Kataomi teaming up for the 2nd kill as Entity just outplaying Aster right now.
Fishman on this Bane with the baits and the setups and the warding, like he's abusing this night vision that Bane has. You can tell this guy has 780 games on Bane with almost a 60% win rate. Yeah. This is disgusting what he's doing right now to Aster.
Another Nightmare coming out from Fishman.
It's very annoying. You don't know what's a setup and what's not. He
does have the Keen Optic, which is allowing this extra range. I'm not sure if he's going to bother with an Aether Lens this game, but either way. Now we have a Blink Dagger from Saberlight, so we'll see if he turns his sights to... Oh, he actually got the break creep. Very cool.
Oh,
3-second duration on the break. It's a passive. I think it's applied just on the auto attack, right? So you can't really control it necessarily.
Unfortunately, it does break towers too. So when he hits the tower pod, it goes on cooldown. Yeah, it breaks towers.
I mean, it goes off cooldown, you mean?
Yeah, it doesn't. I don't know
if you could break a tower, I think that should lower the armor, right? Back to base.
What about this reinforced passive? Is that breakable?
I don't know, but Aster, they're in the pit. It's already at half HP, and this is going to be a freebie for Aster, and obviously they know that the Fiend's Grip and Doom are down, so this is their opportunity to get one. And they will do so, as Monet will have his Ags, and XXS already has his, so huge timing for Aster. We're now down 4K.
Yeah, Entity, they're positioned to make really aggressive moves, which means they're playing close to the Radiant base, and unfortunately for them, that is the farthest away place of the game to the Roche pit. So Aster easily walk into Roche. Usually Bristlebacks do this with the Ags timing, but they went a little bit earlier, which may have led to Entity kind of miscalculating whether the Roche would happen or not. But first Aegis, it doesn't matter that much. They're going to smoke and still look for something here.
Yeah, I'm trying to potentially backstab as there is a scan that comes out. I believe that was on the side of Entity, so not finding anything, but they can see that most of the members of Aster are here. They've already popped the Exorcism to get this tier 2 tower. They will get this successfully. Monet, Nightmare from the high ground, immediately taken off, and Monet is not scared of anybody considering he is mega tanky and has the Aegis. Will in fact take the outpost in the face of Entity, but there's the Doom initiation onto the Brewmaster. He looks to be dead right off the bat of this fight, and the Grip just completely segregating Monet from his team. That's going to be the first life for him, as one more right click should do it. And Ori forced to TP out as the Exorcism comes back, and now Monet completely surrounded. Avatos, Spirit Vessel applied, and Entity, even against an Aegis, just terrific fight.
Once again, Fishman, the absolute MVP of that fight. He sets up multiple wards, which allows for that backline jump. And then as the initiation happens, he's simultaneously gripping and kiting the Bristleback, so that way he can't he can't use the Aegis. It's like you don't care if this guy has an Aegis if you're just kiting him for the duration of the fight. Like this ward, that setup by Fishman was so nice. It lets these backlines get jumped.
Yeah, obviously the Doom very important, but the Avatos onto Siamese Cat, no grave, just 100 to 0. Absolute burst damage from Stormstormer.
With the Brew, too, in the same Avatos. Like, those are the two heroes you need to catch while simultaneously kiting the Bristle so he doesn't kill your entire team while that's happening. Like, that fight could not have been played more perfect by Entity.
And now Stormstormer taking a nice juicy stack as Saberlight.
You know what the cool thing about that last fight is? Is that the reason that Entity is able to get such an initiation is because it takes massive balls to fight into an Aegis and Bristleback Ags timing like that.
Right.
So Aster broke formation thinking like, who in the hell would fight this?
A little overconfident, if you look at the other way as well.
Yeah, you could say that.
I mean, he was taking that outpost all alone with the rest of his team on the low ground. Definitely was not expecting the jump from Entity.
No.
Fishman, he's going to break this smoke. So this is going to feel good for Aster considering how much Fishman's been owning them this game. Who's going to get credit for the kill? Attempting
trying
to
to
TP
TP
out, but that would have been hilarious.
There's no way. There's no way.
Yeah, I think Baboka would have had to have forgotten that he had Enchant Totem
That's
entirely
right.
for that to work out.
Love that he tries for it, though, anyway. He's like, I'm going to get a free one of these when I respawn anyway. Yeah, I mean, it's not the best kill. He's up in 15 seconds from now.
Yeah, we should speak about Aster's item progression from Baboka's side. Has his shard and 1,300 gold into his Blink Dagger. So that could be a potential big power spike for Aster as another exorcism used to take out towers. So that's one thing they've been doing pretty consistently is getting these outer towers with only one tier 2 remaining for Entity. But now that this exorcism is down, expect Entity with a smoke play coming.
Yeah, why not? Their Bane is respawning. He's got 3 smokes. They've been buying them out of stock. Plenty to use, even though we've seen them use quite a few, or at least it feels like it. Here they go.
Yep, they're going to try for it. I mean, I feel like Aster should have an idea that this is coming. Look for them to play very safe as Dota win plot probability for Entity, 81%. Quite high. And they might catch Baboka. Looking for all these juicy creeps to get that Blink Dagger. Actually opting to go to the other side, and XXX is going to break the smoke. Saberlight comes in, but no Doom onto the Brewmaster, who gets the Primal Split off. Actually lifts another member of Entity up in the air as Saberlight just trying to run away at this point to waste some time. Stun onto Toby. 4-staff to the high ground, just barely makes it. Silence comes in from Ori, I should say. Obviously does not have the Exorcism to work with. Primal Split again goes off thanks to the Aghanim Scepter as Toby getting gone on completely by Ori. That's the first death, but Doom applied to Ori himself. But the rest of Entity not able to really close the gap here. So the BKB from Saberlight used from defensive measure as the Enchant Totem actually cancels the TP from Stormstormer as a deny comes out onto Ori, who ends up dying to his team. Monet, though, ends up dropping. A nice pickup here from Entity as they found 3, but Baboka looks to be next on the list. So Entity kind of waiting out this Primal Split. They lose only Toby, and XXS without anything else to his disposal would be dropped as well. 7K lead for Entity. And despite not getting the initiation they were originally looking for, still come out on top of that fight.
Yeah, that was a pretty insane timing from XXS. Just crazy reaction time, but Fishman with the Nightmare save, it lets Toby get his Poison Nova off, which the Entity kind of just kited that fight out until a bunch of the Aster heroes were at like sub 50% HP, and then they go back in with Stormstormer, who wasn't really in the fight until the very end there. He's just been kind of farming away. Yeah, the Zeus ult comes out maybe a little late, possibly could have got the Doom off. He tried to use the Infernal Blade to stop the ult, but Primal Split, pretty low cast point.
Yeah.
This save from Fishman was pretty nice. The 4-staff onto the high ground, and then this one. Yeah, enough to get the ult off.
Yeah, so Toby, the only casualty for Entity in this fight, which is really surprising considering how that started. Aster trying to get something out of this map with a 10k deficit. Stormstorm is actually going to pop the smoke, and he is using Shadow Blade right now. So that's going to break things up for Aster, who get nothing out of it.
Stormstormer's
They're
actually...
going to see it now. XXS, okay. Might be going for this Bane as the Avatos comes in from Stormstormer, but the Enchant Totem immediately. Ori, he's going to get Infernal Bladed and Doom. Look, he's just going to drop here in all likelihood. Gets the Lotus Silver off, though. They're going to turn this around to Stormstormer instead. So Doom's still not off cooldown. So Aster able to get a valuable kill as the chase continues. Still, that's a big cooldown on the Exorcism.
Yep.
Obviously, well worth it to kill Stormstormer at this point in the game.
Oh yeah, he's the carry. Well, I mean, Saberlight is super huge in terms of his net worth, but Stormstormer has been hitting creeps all game. Oh man, Arcane Rune. He's got that bottled for the next one. I don't know if he'll have it for the next Exo. I think he will.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if Roche is really fast spawn here, because if it is, then Entity has everything off cooldown.
They don't have BKB on Saberlight. That's one big thing that they don't have. And Baboka's chain stun in the last fight was really impactful on Stormstormer, who does not have a BKB. He's building that next.
All right, the next Roche. 1 minute 45, so plenty of time for Aster to get everything back. And Baboka with the Blink Dagger.
Oh, mid lane.
Might
They
be
caught
a surprise
XXS.
factor for him as, yep, there's the Doom. Grave comes out, and the scan is there, so they know that there is one person in the back, which is only the Dazzle. So Toby gets credit for the kill on XXS.
They're going to go check Roche and see that it's not up.
Yeah. So minute 15, which, I mean, it almost aligns with the cooldown on Doom's ult anyway. So not the worst thing in the world. Is Kataomi already over halfway to his Nimbus.
Yeah.
Actually farming extremely well on this Zeus.
Yeah, he's just been shoving side lanes. And that kill there, it lets Entity put some vision to protect the Roche pit eventually. So not unimpactful. Even though the Roche doesn't spawn until 50 seconds from now, it does mean that they get to take control of this area. As Monet, he's taking that easy camp.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be spotted and be forced out. Of course, without... I mean, he still has the break on Saberlight. He's actually going to keep that the whole game.
Really wants to use that.
Yeah, it hasn't. I mean, he did break Brew, who then got off the ult. Doesn't really do that much against them, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's only a 3-second break, so it's not the longest duration. But the Silver Edge, I would assume, comes out relatively soon for Stormstorm to give them.
He's actually going for BKB into Moonshard instead of completing the Silver Edge, which, I mean, I definitely agree with the BKB. In the last fight where he died, he was just getting chain stunned by Baboka. To be fair, he was right on top of Baboka, so it's not like it was the fissure from the Aghanim Shard, or the aftershock from the Aghanim Shard.
Smoke from Aster. You can see that Roche is up. Toby, ooh, XXS looking for the primal split, but chooses against it.
Still a few
scan of the high ground. Yeah, they can tell that Toby is in this area. Another smoke. Toby just looking to break these smokes.
Yeah, he's got buyback. He's just trying to be suicidal here.
Fissure starts things out, but it's on the wrong side as Ori pops the Exorcism. So if Entity can try to defend this while this Exorcism is up, might be a good time for them to go in. But Ori fully committing to the Roche. This is Roche number 2 with the Shard. It's Toby. He can see very clearly because of these wards. Gets off the Poison Nova. They're going to focus down Fishman to start this out, and he's dead.
No buyback.
No buyback as Stormstorm gets a big avalanche toss onto Dazzle. So that is a dead support on both sides. Doom applied to Ori, who still has the Exorcism up. Trying to go to the high ground as Kataomi trying to finish him off in his own space as Monet. He's trying to get the Roshan. The Aegis finally gets picked up by him along with the Roche kill itself. And now he's just doing so much damage. Infernal Blade applied to him, but already 2 dead for Entity. The Aegis advantage for Aster. But this could be the end of the Aegis at the very least. Indeed it is.
Baboka
Now
still has
Saberlight
Echo.
Company might have to get out. Fissure onto the high ground. Shiva's is popping. It looks like Saberlight might be coming to an end here. He's going to get jumped now by Baboka to get this finishing move. So 3 kills for Aster. Obviously the Aegis was consumed, but still a 1-team fight in the end.
Yeah, okay, well, Aster, they buy back on Siamese Cat, but they get 3 kills for that. They get the Aegis. This could still go either way. I mean, it just depends on any fight, somebody not having buyback. I like that Aster just commits for the Roche here because they have so much minus armor until they actually see a hero where they can get a good jump. Really great positioning from them, too, running around the pit clockwise, avoiding Stormstormer, who was trying to jump the back lines.
Yeah, look at the heal from the Exo Spirits coming back. Oh, so Ori taking advantage of the heal to kind of bait Kataomi. And Monet obviously using the Aegis, but he's going to be happy with what transpired there.
Baboka held the Echo Slam for that entire fight too.
That is true.
He just didn't see a good opportunity. I mean, it's hard into these Veno wards and the like Zeus ult and all this crap flying around.
Yeah. But taking the outpost does Aster in the Entity jungle. And now the tier 4 items, only one left to pick up for Aster. And Saberlight obviously had the Shivas for quite a while, but only a couple K away from the refresher, which could be pretty damn powerful. And I think at that point, he's going to start thinking about whether he needs the Aghanim Scepter or not.
Still has the break, too. The break creep on Saberlight.
Yeah.
Was it this series that we saw him go for the Nullifier on Underlord? It was, right? It was game 1.
I don't think he finished it.
He didn't finish it, but he had it queued up. I find it interesting, just the ideas that he has about the game. Like, I don't think I've seen anybody really utilize this break creep before. And then the Nullifier against like the Blood Rage. Like, clearly he has some concept here that he thinks is really good. And he's just committed to it. So we'll see if it works out. He can refresh it once he has the refresher.
That is true. Can't wait to see that.
Yeah.
But Entity with a 5K lead now. But Satanic online for Monet. And he is very farmed at the moment. And from XXS's perspective, obviously still working on the refresher as Stormstormer. He's going to get a quick pickup on Siamese Cat. But Saberlight pops the BKB. They have the Doom applied to the Brewmaster, so Entity winning this fight handily. But Boca trying to get away, limping away right now, but being pursued by Saberlight. One more right click should do it if he gets off this Infernal Blade. Knowing that he's dead, he's just trying to expend all those spells. Monet, he's all alone right now, but TP's coming in. Avatos, Saberlight looking to finish off Monet, but he's going to find the distance here. Exo popped by Ori now. And Entity not afraid to continue on as the Shivas has popped the Avalanche toss to follow.
He's dead.
Double toss, in fact, as Ori just drops. Big cooldown down, and 4 for nothing as Entity clean this up.
Man, XXS at the start of the fight, the moment the Zeus ulti came out, you could see him pump faking his primal split. But then because the jump didn't happen immediately after that, there was no smoke break, he didn't see any hero. He's like, oh, that was just a Zeus ult to scout. So he doesn't press his ult, and then it actually results in him going down and getting doomed. Okay, so we saw the dazzle go down.
Oh, and the grip on the BKB Monet, that is big.
Yeah.
Whole duration grip, just wasting the BKB. So Monet just essentially taken out of the fight for the most part.
Bristle's looking like a pretty bad hero into Bane, to be honest. Which is funny because you know Fishman's going to get the Bane if he can, right?
Right. Yeah, Fishman has been playing out of his freaking mind this game. And, I mean, something we didn't really... I'm not sure how... I mean, the effect isn't the most obvious, but... with Enfeeble, the minus HP regen on top of the Spirit Vessel against the Bristle is pretty damn good. And the Shivas on top of that.
Right. Bristle, Dazzle. You also have Death Prophet, who's going to be Spirit Siphoning. Like
yeah.
He does have a Lotus on Death Prophet. They've got ways of taking it off, but it feels like there's too many minus healing components on the side of Entity that it's really difficult to dispel all of them.
Yeah, for sure. I thought it was going to be a refresher on XXS, but he just needs to go Lincoln Sphere just to get off an ult.
I think he probably started with the refresher, and he's like, okay.
I would assume so, yeah.
I'm just
seems to be the cookie cutter. So the question is, does Saberlight end up going for the mana creep again to try to break the Lincolns when that comes up? Or is he happy with the 3-second break?
I don't know if he needs the break versus this Bristleback. He's looking very kiteable in these fights. And then after, once everybody's dead on the side of Aster, you don't need a break to kill him if he's the only person alive.
They haven't needed it yet, that is for sure.
I don't even know if he's gotten it off yet. It's kind of hard to notice.
Saberlight, the Doom comes out right off the bat, but it's reflected thanks to the Lotus Orb. And Bristle not afraid of this fight at all. And you can see the Echo Slam used by Baboka. Stormstorm with the BKB on the other side of the fissure. XXX finally gets off the primal split. Fishman is his target right now, but the Bristle's dead as Stormstormer finishes him off, but it's going to be a trade for his own life. But you can see damage being applied now to Ori, and he gets taken out relatively early in the fight as well. Toby continuing to get pursued by the primal split.
Nice save.
The Lotus Orb applied to him now. Now the XXS's ult is running out. We'll have to try to hightail away. At the Thunderbolt, keeping Siamese Cat in place, but a nice fissure from Baboka with the Enchant Totem to follow slows Entity down enough. They will not go any further. So that fight, a 2-for-1, only cores died.
I don't know how Fishman is getting off these long-range grips for full duration. Like, that was another hugely impactful grip in that fight. It let Stormstormer just sit there and beat the living crap out of this Bristleback. Like, surely there's some stun for him, right? You know, maybe Baboka can go stun him? Like, yeah, there's just nothing, I guess. XXS, he tries. Katomi,
yeah, they had the primal split just to try to take him out with that stun.
Yeah, he's just positioned amazingly. That's the issue. And Baboka was in the trees to the left trying to secure his own position. He's not able to stop Fishman. Because usually Earthshaker is extremely good against Bane. You've got that long-range fissure, but he had already used it for the initial kill.
Yeah, Bane has to be public enemy #1 for Aster right now, as Fishman has kind of dominated this game.
Which is crazy. I mean, look at his net worth.
Wait, when's the last time we've seen a Bane kind of take over a game like this? I feel like this hero is so forgotten in general.
Not anymore. Fishman will make us remember.
Yes.
Doesn't even have another item queued up because he knows as a position 5, he's like, I'm not getting another one.
Yeah.
This is
Saberlight.
This is Swords and Sentries, and then I'm gonna buy.
That's the hilarious part, is how much impact he's had. And he's just bottom of the charts with net
nothing.
worth.
Yeah, he's been just an absolute MVP of this series.
Saberlight working on his overwhelming blink, so not opting to replace the Midas yet, or even going for an Ags. I mean, we're going to be seeing Roche #3, so maybe getting an Ags for free, potentially. Which I think, I mean, as well as Fishman has played, I kind of want to give the Ags to him, but it's got to be going for the Doom this game. But we'll see if it even is an Ags. I know the 70-30 rule.
Right. It's looking
Pressure
like
Shard is the usual one. The Roche,
and
it
it's
is
the Ags.
every time we mention it.
Every time
I'll
we
just
say
mention it every time, so we see an Ags.
Yeah, Ags are, well, they're way cooler. Although I feel like Refresher this game would be kind of insane too.
True.
Like, both sides have heroes that would love to use it.
Yeah, you can see both sides posturing, knowing how important this next Roche is. Fissure coming out from the high ground. XXX does get up his primal split. Stormstormer pretty deep. Has to kind of hightail away. Gets his BKB and Lothar's off, but Saberlight gets the Doom onto the Bristleback, but they're not going to pursue any further. They're actually looking to reset. As XXX, he's going to get gripped in his primal split form. Can they kill this before he can get anything off? In fact, they're going to grave it as Saberlight pops his Refresher, gets the BKB off again, and XXX still with the primal split. So Nimbus as a getaway measure for Entity. And again, that's actually a crazy turn of events.
Yeah, that was a nice
in
play.
their favor.
That was a cool idea.
But now Grip is down. And that's it. I guess Exo, that's the big one for Aster.
Exo for Grip. They do have another Panda ult though.
Fishman, Nightmare. And XXS, he actually jumps inside the pit. Wasn't 100% sure if Entity was doing it, but you can see clearly that Roshan has been left to his own devices. And now Aster might have to force this fight, but this is without Exorcism. One Doom was used, so no Refresher or BKB for Saberlight. That's another big one.
Toby's got ult. I feel like he just wants to walk in, suicide, and then buy back.
Yep, potentially. And Kataomi likely have Nimbus here soon. Fissure coming out, not really doing too much. In fact, kind of blocking his own way a bit as the primal split is popped. Try to take out Fishman, this pesky Bane. It's been the bane of Aster's existence, and he will die. Does have buyback, though, as Toby does get off the poison node, but the avalanche toss from Stormstormer focusing on the Dazzle, but he's going to live. Siamese Cat gets off the grave on himself as Stormstormer now. He's the one that has to be careful, attempting to TP out, but double kill for Ori, takes him out. 3 dead for Entity, but they're going to buy back into this game as Saberlight falls as well. Will he expend his buyback? And Ori lives throughout the second Doom, and now Entity losing a big chunk of their lead here. And even the buyback on the Siamese Cat.
I think Aster probably wants to go fight
He
this.
actually brought back into the river. Spirit Vessel applied.
He's gripped. It's up again.
He is gripped, and the Avalanche comes out and cancels the fissure. That's 2 dead for Aster. They're going to be forced to buy back. Both do have them. Already, one comes out from XXS, and you can see Saberlight obviously has his buyback, but he doesn't have anything. He doesn't have the Doom up. Yeah, EXO available in 5, so Aster. These last couple minutes have been completely insane. And Monet into the pit.
Yep, they've got
Toby
Primal
with the
Split
Gale,
ready.
just trying to delay. And again, Saberlight does have his buybacks as XXS trying to pursue Toby. In the meantime, Spirit Vessel, the Spirit Siphon from Ori comes out. And the stun
Ult is up
going to connect on Toby. Still force-stepping. Look how far Aster is being pushed into the enemy jungle. And even a refresher picked up by Zeus in the meantime. But Fishman's dead. That's a dieback. But a lot of the EXO has been used up already. An Entity. See if they try to defend this Roche, knowing that an Aghanim Scepter is online. But into the pit, Aster goes. Do Entity try to contest? Saberlight up in 10 seconds. But it looks like this is going to go the way of Aster. Nimbus a little too late. So Aegis, Ags, and Cheese.
It would have been so risky to contest that. I thought maybe they would go for it, considering the risky plays that they were making earlier, fighting into Aegis, fighting into the Bristle Ags, but...
Look at the lead. That was a 12K lead as of 30 seconds ago. Now we have an Aghanims online for Ori. So the Ghost will come out with every attack and spell, making him ever more tanky, and it gives him that 4K net worth as well.
And those Ghosts are going to be pretty annoying in this game. BKB piercing on every auto attack, so he can slow these BKB heroes on Entity.
Saberlight. He's going to run to the smoke. It's an instant blink off. And he does have double Doom now, and there's the Ags queued up. Obviously, the break mechanic that comes applied to it, pretty damn important, but the fights just haven't been straightforward. It's not like they're getting a Doom and then just hitting the same target. Feels like they're getting a Doom and then the Doom target kind of runs away.
Yeah, and when Entity does win the fights, it's just crazy execution from them. Like some guy getting gripped and then the backline is being focused and also Doom on Ori at the same time. Like basically like 3 simultaneous plays happening.
Big comeback. Used to be 81% in favor of Entity, now 60. And I'm not even sure if that is accurate. This feels very even right now. And now that XXS has his Lincolns, it will be the cookie cutter refresher to follow. All right, what items are we looking forward to that make a big difference? Stormstormer still opting not to go, okay, finally for Silver Edge.
Yeah.
But anything else on the horizon? Is that an Ags queued up on Venomancer? Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
One of 2 Ags in the game that have remained since Dota 1, it feels like, with Viper and Veno. I wonder what their similarities are. But just the damage increase and cooldown decrease.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Ags Veno is insane in the late game. You've got the spell Lifesteal talent. A lot of people go for the Poison Nova reduces attack speed talent. So having the lowered cooldown on that is pretty nice, and it does a ton of damage. It's insane, like percentage damage in the late game from Veno. Like Toby has just been walking in and basically using his ult and then dying, and it helps him play for that style, but it's going to take him a long time to get there. I don't even know if we'll see it before the game ends. Like, he's not a hero that's farming right now. His team is consuming the entire map.
And something briefly mentioned in the last fight that the refresher was picked up by Kataomi, but he has a Timeless Relic as well. This guy is he's outputting a crap ton of damage. But as Aster, with that Aegis advantage, want to poke high ground.
That's hard to
Entity.
poke.
Oh, there's the Primal Split. And obviously, the Earth Panda does a ton of damage, a ton of siege damage. That's something you have to be careful with. Is the Storm he's going to get the Tornado off before he drops. And these towers are just falling really quickly. Already the tier 3 dead. Saberlight posturing in the trees, looking for an opening. He's going to get. Well, he actually has the ninja gear, so the solo smoke. That's going to be very important. And he has that mana creep to be able to break the Lincolns, but again, being able to do that and then Doom is still a tall order on the Brewmaster.
And he's also swapping in and out the spider leg, so he's looking to get an angle. Like, ideally, he can go over some cliff, some high ground to where Aster is not ready for him to come from that direction. That's kind of what he's looking for here. It's all about the initiation for him. They do have the Zeus ult to scout ahead for that, though.
Actually, a little surprised you can use Ninja Gear and then backpack it. Because the old Illusionist Cape, they got rid of that functionality,
Yeah,
right?
I guess because it's like a smoke of deceit, right?
Yeah.
So, same buff.
Well, Monet and company are like, all right, if you're not going to defend, we're going to go into your base again. 50 seconds with the Aegis. Range racks in favor of Aster now. And it looks like Entity are just going to give this lane up.
Man, Monet, he's got that 25 plus damage on Warpath at level 25. He's doing so much damage per hit with the AC to buildings.
And 25 talents. Anything else come to mind for you? Obviously, the DP has hers.
Saberlight has the 2.1% Infernal Blade damage.
Oh, yeah.
So
He has a shard as well, I assume?
Yes, he does. So 6.1% per hit. It's going to be doing a lot of damage in these fights.
Yeah, for sure.
Eventually, heroes will die.
Oh, Brewmaster has his. Cinder Brew applies fear when ignited. So that is... I haven't actually seen that very
I've
much.
never seen this talent before. I didn't know that was a talent. What?
I may have forgotten as well. How long is the fear?
1.5 seconds.
Okay. Wow, that's actually really annoying.
That's pretty good, yeah. That's pretty sick. Although he's not casting
from Entity, there's... Oh, they're going to try to go onto the Brewmaster. The toss is there. Will he get off his ult? You can see his grave, and the Primal Split comes through, and that forces Entity to BKB TP. Stormstormer does get away, as Saberlight got off his Doom and actually used the Refresher as well.
Toby's stuck,
Toby
though.
is mega dead. And 120 seconds, no buyback here as Baboka. He's going to get graved again as Fishman, doing Fishman things. He actually gets out despite all of this. So they find one. See, what is going on here?
I don't know. I don't think anybody had to be close to dying in that situation.
No, either way, Toby is dead for quite a while. And, ooh, a Lincoln Sphere. So actually is fearing this Doom now that he does have the Aghanim Scepter to break. Maybe you got to go back for that break creep, it seems.
Yeah, that's where that comes back in. That's right.
But obviously he has this Lincoln's Breaker, but the question is who, this is what the panel asks, who do you Doom? Obviously the Primal Split is maybe the top priority, but Bristol is doing a lot of damage.
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, Aster, they're going to hit this high ground here. You kind of have to fight this. No Toby for 60 seconds. They've got to toss back.
Stormer toss back into the fray, but the Fissure comes out. Nightmare from Fishman. You can see no BKB from Stormstorm. He's already used his as the Doom is reflected back to Saberlight. I believe Monet's just going to sit this out for the time being. And damage being done by the Brew Split again. Stormstormer trying to get the Storm Panda. He will get lifted instead. We'll see if Aster wants to reset now that Exo is running out. So they get the tier 3. And Entity, they technically defend, but the Refresher from Saberlight not available for another minute. So won't have Doom, double Doom even, for 2 minutes.
Yeah, and they were waiting for XXS to have his ult up again. They have it. Ori, 23 seconds on his, but they're just going to pop the split and go.
Split again, and the buildings are going to die. Melee racks getting focused, and this might be the second racks in favor of Aster. Little brain aneurysm there.
Yep.
Entity just have to, they can't defend this.
No.
There's nothing they can do.
Yeah, they need their cooldowns. They need a miracle fight at this point. I mean, they were pulling it off earlier, so we know that they can do it. They've done it in this game. But it feels like, yeah, back to what the panel said. Who do you Doom at this point? They need to Doom one guy and then Fiend's Grip another while simultaneously jumping probably the Dazzle.
Oh my god. So now Refresher's online for the Brew. And we talked about this during the laning stage. How do you deal with this Brew? I don't even know.
He just instantly popped it, by the way, too. Aster wants to...
There's no reason.
They want to go based on Entity not knowing that he has this, that he has 2 splits up right now. And they smoke into this.
Yep, they're going to try for XXS. He's the one trying to break it. Scan comes out from the other side. I believe that's Aster's. Smoke still not revealing anything. It's now a smoke from Aster as Monet showing himself. Got those 10 stacks of Warpath ready to go. Toby kind of showing himself, gets off the gale, but the fissure comes. Storm in the back. He's going to get focused, though. They actually see him here. The silence coming out and the Exo forcing the rest of Entity back into their base, but Stormer left all alone has to BKB, attempting to teleport, and he will be successful because there is no Basher.
Yeah, nobody else anyway.
Yet for Bristle. That's going to be his next item.
And he buys it just like that. Yep, he's done with that. Nobody's TPing out in front of him again.
Yeah, that would have been pretty rough. As Saberlight actually still wants to fight. Gets off Doom, but Lotus Orb is going to reflect a bit here. You can see Bristleback is more than healthy. Saberlight taking most of the damage as the Primal Spit continue to kind of segregate this fight. Stormstormer coming with the Avalanche Toss, but he's going to get crushed in the meantime, and Saberlight will die as well. They do have buybacks en masse, and they'll have to use them. Kataomi completely out of mana. Again, these Brew Spirits are doing whatever the hell they want. The Grave onto Brew, onto the Bristleback, but Monet is perfectly fine. Double kill for Baboka, and Aster starting to run away with this fight. 4 buybacks from Entity. The hairball comes out to slow the pursuit, and Aster get away with murder. One more fight like that, and that's GG.
It's just looking harder and harder.
Roach number 4. That's a big boy.
What's he got? He's got everything.
Santa Roshan is
Santa
available.
Claus. That's right.
So Aster, doubt they want to go straight into the pit, but if they find even one pick off, I mean, the lack of buybacks in this game, very alarming for Entity
on
their last leg.
Arcane Rune on the Panda, so that's going to make his charges come back even faster.
Excellent.
Very nice.
Very nice indeed. Solo smoke thanks to the Ninja Gear on Saberlight, but you can see the rest of Entity are back in their base with just Stormer on the outskirts here on the bottom lane. So Aster, not sure if they know it, but this is a free Roche number 4 for them. Even the Brew Split is expended just in case. Like you said, the Arcane Rune's going to make that not feel too bad. But giving this up now, that is very uphill battle for Entity now. Monet with the Aegis. Who the hell gets the Ags at this point? Baboka, he's going to be jumping around. Love to snap. He gives it up.
Siamese cat?
Okay.
Yeah. Good juju. Let's see what he can refresh. BKB on Ori seems pretty good. Lotus Orb as well. He'll probably be refreshing Monet, I would say. Satanic, Abyssal Blade, Lincoln Sphere. I think in the last fight, Saberlight actually doomed into the Lincolns to get the second Doom off. So if that's getting refreshed by the good juju as well, it's going to be even more impossible to doom Monet on this Bristleback. Not that it's even worth it when he has this Aegis.
Yeah, and Aster held on to their original cheese as well, so this is very rough. I mean, you have how many, God knows how many ults from Brew, because he has a refresher and a refresher shard. I have no idea what you do against this guy.
Or he's got a Wind Waker too, so if a hero does get doomed,
boy.
he's going to be able to save them for 2.5 seconds. Same with the Grip.
Aster looking for the backstab, and they need this to go flawlessly.
Yeah, there's a Hail Mary.
Monet, they're going to see them thanks to the Thunder God's Wrath. Avalanche is there, but Monet already with the Lotus and the BKB. Saberlight trying to get off his ult. He does so successfully on the DP with the refresher to follow, but he's falling so low, he's going to be brought down. 120 seconds of no Saberlight. No buyback whatsoever as the Poison Nova comes out, but he's just dropped to his knees. Buyback now from Baboka. And Fishman in the trees. This looks to be the last-ditch effort for Entity, as Stormer not going to get bashed by Monet, so does TP back successfully, but again, nothing to fear from Aster because they have everything. Aegis, 2 cheese, refresher shard, and only 2 enemies against them, and getting top 4 at this tournament.
There's no way they defend this. It's impossible with these 2 heroes alive. They're just going to go straight throne.
Yep, just focusing on the tier 4s now as Dazzle ends up dying here. The Stormer, but we'll buy back because they've kept all their buybacks at this point. And
That's
GG is called. Aster secures top 4 at the Arlington Major and drop Entity in the process.
Yeah, Entity, they went for the Hail Mary at the end there, but Aster Their positioning was too perfect. They had all of their heroes in the trees that could have been jumped in the back lines. They had their tankiest guy with Aegis walking in. It's like they knew. They knew that that smoke was coming. It was the only play that Entity could make.
This Brew hero.
Yeah, this hero's insane in the late game.
Oh my goodness.